Good afternoon, everyone. Today is May 4th, Woodstock Council Meeting. I'm getting some feedback. Sorry about that. All right, my apologies. We do have a proclamation to read today, so I'm just going to come to the floor and we'll start. So again, thanks for everybody for being here. Whereas healthy bird populations are critical in maintaining healthy ecosystems. In Canada, birds help control insect populations, keep our forests healthy, disperse seeds, fertilize plants, pollinate flowers, and prey on rodents that damage crops and spread disease. Yet as a direct result of human activity, our bird populations remain some of the most at-risk species. And whereas we have lost nearly 3 billion birds in North America alone over the last 50 years, with coastal shorebirds having lost more than a third of their numbers, threats such as habitat loss, pesticides, cat predation, climate change, window strikes, and road collisions are all negatively impacting our feathered friends. And whereas this year's World Migratory Bird Day theme aims to address the link between water and migratory birds. As aquatic ecosystems become increasingly endangered by human action, the migratory birds that use them are equally placed at greater risk. Whereas municipalities across Canada are taking direct action to better protect our bird populations, not only by marking World Migratory Bird Day, but further taking steps to become bird-friendly cities, a designation obtained through Nature Canada. This May, WEAC is asking the public to consider what steps you can take to help protect our feathered friends. 1, reduce water consumption. 2, eliminate pesticide use. And 3, do not allow your household cat to roam at large. Now, therefore, I, Jerry Accioni, Mayor of the City of Woodstock, alongside neighboring municipalities, recognize the importance of protecting our migratory bird populations and hereby declare May 13th, 2023 as World Migratory Bird Day in the City of Woodstock, dated this 4th day of May, 2023 at Woodstock, Ontario. Thank you. Am I delivering that? Thank you. All right, so moving along. No closed session, any disclosure or conflict of interest? Seeing none. Matters arising from the minutes. And the minutes, Councillor Tate.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Schadenberg, that the minutes of the regular meeting of Woodstock City Council held on April 20th, 2023 be adopted.
Thank you. No additions to the agenda or presentations. Oh, sorry. All those in favor? Carried. None opposed. Thank you. Consideration of planning reports. So OP 2302-8 and ZN 8-2302. Looking for a mover. Councillor Lauder.
I'll move that Woodstock City Council advise County Council that the city supports the application to amend the official plan file number OP 23-02-8 submitted by the County of Oxford for lands legally described as lots 363 and 366 and 514, 517, Plan 827 in the city of Woodstock to facilitate the development of a 3-story 43-unit apartment building on the subject lands. And further, that the City Council approve in principle the zone change application file number ZN 8-21-16 submitted by the County of Oxford for lands legally described as lots 363 and 366 and 514 and 517. Plan 827 in the city of Woodstock to rezone the lands to special residential zone 4 RP-SV to facilitate a 3-story 43-unit apartment building with reduced parking requirements. And further, that any comments received from the public were reviewed and considered before the decision was made in relation to this planning matter.
Thank you. This application was deferred at the March City Council meeting to allow the applicant opportunity to provide a traffic study. The traffic study was conducted and submitted to city staff for review and approval. The study indicated that there's no concerns with intersection movements and no improvements are required. As such, staff recommend approval of the applications.
Thank you. Any questions for the planner on this? Okay, seeing none. Thank you. In that case, I'll call the vote or any discussion in general? Not, then I'll call the vote. All those in favor? None opposed, carried. Thank you. Consideration of correspondence. First one's from Lorraine McLean, Woodstock Lawn Bowling Signs, looking for a motion. Councillor Leatherborough,
Moved by myself that Woodstock City Council approves the request to place signs at the locations indicated in the correspondence, subject to staff approval to promote the Woodstock Lawn Bowling Club until June 12th, 2023.
thank you. Looking for a seconder for the motion. Councillor Tate, discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? None opposed, carried. Next up, we have David Jenkin, Woodstock Triathlon Kids Do Event. Looking for a motion. Councillor Wismer Van Meer.
Moved by myself that the Woodstock City Council approves the in-kind donation request for the Woodstock Triathlon Club's Kids Do. Oh, and further that the city council approves of the request to place signs at the locations indicated in the correspondence to promote the event, subject to staff approval.
Thank you. Looking for a seconder on the motion. Councillor Leatherborough, discussion? Councillor Leatherborough?
Through your worship, just really excited about this event. And in the report, it mentions expected 200 participants and one of my kids will be participating. So I'll be there.
Any other discussion? Okay, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? None opposed. Carried. Next up, John Brusel, Woodstock Lions Club Terry Fox Run, Councillor Wismer Van Meer.
Moved by myself that the Woodstock City Council approves the in-kind donation request from the Woodstock Lion Club for the Terry Fox Run with the addition of permission to place lawn signs throughout the city prior to the event.
So there was a small adjustment to that one, just so everybody is aware. It was brought to our attention. It was forgot on the application. So I asked Councillor Wismer Van Meer to adjust that. So full disclosure. Seconded by Councillor Tate. Discussion, Councillor Schadenberg.
Yeah, I just want to, first of all, thank John Versavo, who's been the chairperson for this for a number of years in the Lions Club of Woodstock, which I'm a member of as well. But John also takes a big task on for the Christmas parade and the Santa Claus parade, of course, and the Victoria Day parade, as far as the Lions Club goes, to marshal the events and stage it and make sure that the sort of the parade gets out of the fairgrounds on time. So John's a terrific local the volunteer in that way. The other thing I wanted to mention was more of just a comment than anything else. I do want to point out that the last three motions we've all had are from sort of nonprofit, municipal or not for-profit municipal groups who are promoting participation and et cetera, within the community. Just wanted to point that out because of the number of signs that people like to just sort of displace and put out anywhere in the municipality, anywhere where they think there's a boulevard, they think there's a good place to put their sign to advertise their business. And of course, the city of Woodstock has a bylaw literally against that. So I just wanted to sort of point that out, congratulate these groups and individuals and the other ones that have done it in the past, like the lawn bowling or the curling club, for example, that come out and specifically ask for a placement of signage.
Agreed. Thanks, John. We can do a lot for the community. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor? None opposed. Carried. Next up, we have Scott Verbugen, sorry, Scott. Woodstock Truck Show and Calendar Competition. Looking for a motion. Councillor Lauder.
I'll move that Woodstock City Council approves the in-kind donation request for 2023 Woodstock Truck Show and Calendar Competition.
There we go. All right. Thank you. Looking for a seconder, Counselor Leatherborough. Discussion, Counselor Lauder.
I just wondered if Mr. Connors would just speak to this request. It is for 15 picnic tables and garbage drums. Of course, I'll approve it, but just so that people know that what our department is helping out on this. Thank you.
Your worship, through to the councilor's question. Yes, this has been a historic thing that the Parks Department has helped out with, as well as the Works Department with the fencing. We have, if you'll note, just have this down for 2023, as this has become very difficult for both the Parks and Works Department to supply at this time. It takes away from picnic tables from the public and a lot of manpower at a critical time. So we wouldn't have come forward with this. However, in the process of this policy, the communication to this group came out late, and we didn't want to leave the event organizers kind of hanging this year, but that's why it's only been approved for the 1 year and not the term of council.
Thank you for that.
And thank you. Any other discussion or questions? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? None opposed. Carried. And the last one for today is Cherish Lanson's Walk for Alzheimer's. For motion, Counselor Schadenberg.
Make a motion that Woodstock City Council approves the in-kind donation request for the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's.
Thank you. Looking for a seconder. Counselor Wismer Van Meer. Discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor? None opposed. Thank you very much for that. No staff presentations or mayor's report today, no council reports, but we do have some department reports. 14A1 2022 Revenue Fund Budget Supplies, looking for a motion on that. Counselor Tate.
I'll move that the Woodstock City Council approves the allocation of the 2022 surplus to the reserve for capital projects.
Thank you. Seconded by Counselor Wheaton. Discussion? Okay. Seeing none, call the vote. All those in favor? None opposed. Carried. Now we got engineering. 14B1 inclusion of transit with fare. Counselor Schadenberg.
Yeah, I make a motion that Woodstock City Council approved the revised fare policy, so it's FAIR. Policy to include transit and complete the necessary steps to make this available to the public effective June the 1st, 2023.
Thank you. Look for a seconder. Counselor Leatherborough. Discussion? Counselor Schadenberg.
Maybe just ask the engineering department, Harold DeHaan, through the mayor, to explain what the how the fare program is going to help with transit fares.
Your worship, through the counselor. Yes, once we get this program up and running, applicants who are approved for the fare program will then be able to apply for a 50% discount on their monthly passes. So they'll be able to go into the 3 locations listed in the report to buy a monthly pass. They can buy up to 3 monthly passes at a time. And as I mentioned, the city will subsidize 50% of that.
Counselor Leatherborough.
Through your worship, so I was really happy to see that this was adopted in 2014 and then evolved in 2017 to include culture, and now in 2023 to include transit. I had a question through to Mr. Connors. When I noticed that purchase of the monthly passes using the fare program can be done at the Cowan Park Sportsplex, Reeves Community Complex, as well as Southside Aquatic Center. I'd really like to see a location somewhere in the downtown. So if your department could work potentially with the library to maybe offer this training or service in more of a downtown location.
Your worship, through to the councilor's question, we could provide some training for the public portal so that there'd be people on site if, again, I haven't reached out to the library for this, but that could help folks with the public portal of the application so that they could do that there. For sure.
Thank you. Any other discussion or questions of staff? And seeing none, I just want to echo Councillor Leatherborough. To see this come through in our term of 2014, then of course in 2017, adding the culture, I think was a great thing. And this is just that evolution of helping those that need it the most here in our community. So really pleased with this one. Call the vote. All those in favor? None opposed. Carried. Next up, economic development, modular stage for Museum Square. Looking for a motion? Oh, did I miss one? I'm sorry about that. I did. Parks and Rec. 14D1, Woodstock Gymnastics Club Agreement. My apologies, Councillor Wismer Van Meer.
Moved by myself that Woodstock City Council authorized the mayor and clerk to sign the management agreement with the Woodstock Gym Club.
Thank you. Looking for a seconder, Councillor Schadenberg. Discussion? Councillor Schadenberg.
I guess I'm in the mood for commending people today or congratulating them, Mayor. Gordon and Mary Lee Pinckney have been involved with the Woodstock Gym Club for a number of years, and I still remember when Gore Pinckney was the head coach of the gym club, when it was essentially in the works yard on James Street, and before it moved over to the community complex, and that was in 1996. So that gives you an idea as to how long the city of Woodstock has had a relationship with the Woodstock Gym Club, and it's nice to see a continuation of the management agreement and the tenancy there.
Thank you for that. Sorry. Yes, I've got probably hundreds of hours in that gymnastics club with my daughters over the years. So any other discussion or questions on that? Okay, seeing none. Call the vote. All those in favor? Carried, none opposed. Now let's try that again. Economic development. Modular stage for Museum Square. Councillor Lauder, seconded by Councillor Leatherborough.
I'll move that Woodstock City Council authorize the capital expenditure of $50,000 for a shipping container stage in Museum Square, and that the funds be taken from the reserve for capital projects.
Thank you. Any discussion? Councillor Leatherborough.
Through your worship, just really excited about this. Myself and some other fellow BIA members and business owners are excited to have this downtown to encourage residents to come down and participate in different events. And I've seen these shipping containers converted into many things, the first for a stage. So I'm very excited about this.
Any other discussion? Councillor Wismer Van Meer.
And just a general comment, kind of what Councillor Leatherborough said. I'm really excited to see this stage coming downtown and to Carrie Jarvie and her staff. I think I'm super excited about the shipping container as well. My husband watches a lot of home renovation shows and seeing all these people doing what they do with these shipping containers. I was actually asked to join one of our local musical groups on stage coming up in July, but unfortunately I'm on vacation. So I don't get to perform in there yet, but I'm really excited to see what's going to be coming to our downtown square. And I think that there's a lot of people in our community that will really enjoy it. So congratulations and great work on finding something that's unique and interesting to add to our downtown.
100% agree with that. Any other questions, discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? None opposed. We have a new stage coming downtown. How exciting is that? All right, let's make sure I don't miss any. 14E2, proposed extension and timing to build commitment for 2427224 Ontario Inc. Looking for a motion. Councillor Wheaton.
Moved by myself that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign an amending agreement with 2427224 Ontario Inc. as described in the report.
Thank you. Looking for a seconder, Councillor Leatherborough. Discussion or questions of staff? Seeing none, I'll just add that it's great to see. Obviously, there's been some delays, and this is just simply a a company that's been local, has been doing a lot of work, put a lot of work into the site already, so this is good. All those in favor, call the vote. None opposed, carried. Next up, proposed sale of city-owned land to Viewtech Canada. Looking for motion, Councillor Schadenberg.
The Woodstock City Council authorized the mayor and clerk to sign an agreement of purchase and sale with Viewtech Canada and that the necessary bylaw be read.
Thank you. Looking for a seconder, Councillor Lauder. Discussion? Councillor Schadenberg.
Obviously, Viewtech has been around in the city of Woodstock for a very long time, and I was just asked a question from the mayor through to Len Magyar from Economic Development Commissioner, just to give us sort of a background on the necessity for them to purchase additional land from the city of Woodstock.
Your worship, through to Councillor Schadenberg's question. Viewtech, as you mentioned, has been in the community since about 1988. It actually was the first Japanese company that came to the community. And when they first came here, they started out with about 40,000 square feet. No equipment. We're waiting on a contract with Cami. And so since then, they've obviously grown significantly in size, and they've continued to expand. We often joke in our office that they're the company with Velcro walls, because every 9 months, they're adding another 40,000 square feet, 50,000 square feet. And they have, I would say, in a very exceptional way, utilized pretty much all of the entire site that they have. So the last couple sales that, including this sale that we've done with them, have been a little bit challenged in terms of working around our storm pond. But give Viewtech their dues. They've been exceptional to work with. When we ask for certain things, they certainly deliver. In this case, they're looking at another 84,000 square feet, which means that they have some contract arrangements to fill. So yeah, we're just again excited that this company continues to grow, and we keep telling them now that if they want to continue to expand this particular building, they have the other building across the street, that the only way they're going to be able to do it next time is to actually build on the storm ponds. They're going to have to find some way to have a floating floor, but just continue to grow. And again, for us as a community, I mean, there's all the great things that go with that in terms of the jobs and everything else, but a really good company to work with when we're doing things like this.
Thank you. Any other discussion or questions? No, I would just like to add, Viewtech it's fantastic. It's a great story, listening to and hearing their story of where they started at 40,000 square feet to what, 460,000 square feet now. It's just unbelievable. So congratulations to them. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? None opposed, carried. And next up, Chief Administrative Officer has a report for Boundary Adjustment Committee establishments. Councillor Leatherborough.
Moved by myself that Woodstock City Council authorize the mayor to invite the Council of the Township of East Zora Tavistock and the Council of the Township of Norwich to enter into boundary adjustment discussions. And further, that council establish the Township of East Zora Tavistock Boundary Adjustment Negotiation Committee, comprised of 3 members of council, including Mayor Accioni, Councillor Schadenberg, and Councillor Wheaton. And further, that council establish the Township of Norwich Boundary Adjustment Negotiation Committee, comprised of 3 members of council, including Mayor Accioni, Councillor Lauder, and Councillor Leatherbarrow.
Thank you. Looking for a seconder on that. Councillor Wheaton. Discussion? Councillor Wheaton.
Thank you, your worship. I just wanted to kind of communicate to the public that while we enter into boundary adjustments, that doesn't mean that we shift our focus from intensification and infilling and achieving density goals, that the two go hand in hand. We've just heard about Viewtech and doing their expansion, and an expansion almost always means a need for more employees, pardon me. St. Thomas has just had an incredible announcement of landing, Volkswagen in their community, and all of these expansions create pressures on our existing business community. And in order for us to help businesses achieve their employment goals, we need to build houses and apartments and townhouses in order for those people to live in our community. So while I recognize that taking land out of agricultural production is not the long-term ongoing goal, it is one step that we need to take in order to achieve our housing goals that benefit our rural community and rural employers, as well as our urban employers.
Thank you. Very well said. Anyone else? Counselor Schanberg.
Yeah, I guess just because it's an opportunity to sort of say a few things maybe on the record, as they say, with the minutes and whatnot. I just wanted to sort of point out along the lines of the intensification that the city council has approved many intensification projects that haven't even sort of started as of yet. For example, the bungalow on the corner of Devonshire and Lansdowne was finally erased this past Monday, so it's gone. So we can look forward to the project that's planned at the corner of Devonshire and Lansdowne, hopefully to maybe go forward. That's been approved by council. And then, of course, there's the corner of Oxford and Hunter, corners of Brant and Riddell, well known as the former hospital site, the corner of Adelaide and Victoria, the corner of Maine and Wellington, Southwood Way project behind Whittingford Lodge. And as you heard earlier in this council here meeting today, the corner of Springbank and Braeside. So those are all sort of infill projects or reconstruction projects, so to say that there might have been residential there in the past, may have been a place of worship, may have been a school, may have been something else on that corner that's getting intensified and redeveloped. And there's sites obviously all over the city of Woodstock similar to that.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Counselor Tate.
Yes, through your worship. It's no surprise, I'm not a fan of taking agricultural land for residential, as I've argued for years that residential does not pay its way. So I just caution when we go through this, I mean, it's not up to us anyways, if they don't want to do it, we're not going to do it. But we are not, our roads still are not urbanized out that way for the amount of traffic we have. The roads are in bad condition and the other costs associated with residential are quite high, and the taxes for new residential do not pay their way. So I think that's very important to keep in mind. And as Councillor Schadenberg said, we have a lot of intensification going on, and we have 2 more new subdivisions already taking up farmland to the west. So just something to keep in mind for the taxpayers.
Thank you. Any other discussion? In that case, I'll just simply add that though, as I've always called myself a farm kid at heart, I recognize that we need farmland as well, but we also need people and places for them to live. So this is a fine line. I think we've done a great job. We've shown that to the public as a council moving forward of all the intensification projects we've done. In fact, I'd hazard to say we probably intensified more in this term of council than we did in the last 2 combined, if we looked at the numbers offhand roughly. So we will continue to do that with everything we can. I guess the issue is the province has come out and made it very clear that we have a mandate. There's a policy in place that we have to have so many years of land supply. And as they've done in other areas, we'd rather talk with our neighbors and make sure everybody's on the same page instead of them just coming and doing it on their own. So I'd much rather be amicable and speak with our neighbors and do this all together for everyone's benefit. So I welcome our neighbors in discussions and hopefully we can go from there. So with that, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? None opposed, carried. And with that, fire services, fire apparatus procurement, there's a word. Looking for a motion. Councilor Leatherborough.
Moved by myself that Woodstock City Council authorize participation in the canoe procurement group of Canada for cooperative purchasing of project FIR 00026 - replace fire apparatus engine 1 bracket ALF pumper out of bracket.
Looking for a seconder. Councilor Wismer Van Meer, discussion. The fire chief is online if there are any questions for him, just so everyone is aware. I'm not sure you can see that or not, but he is on my screen. So there is a Councilor Lauder.
Since he is online, maybe he could explain just what this is about?
Chief, are you there? Oh, yeah. All right.
I'm coming, yeah. Thank you very much, counselors. Again, I'm joining you from a conference here in Toronto. And it's a great day to be joining, as it is also International Firefighters Day, being recognized on May the 4th. So with respect to this purchasing and the procurement policy that we're looking or taking part in, it gives us an opportunity to take advantage of some previously negotiated discounts that may be available through different vendors. And at this time when we're seeing great increases in the cost of our apparatus, where we were historically been looking at anywhere from around $700,000 to $800,000 for an apparatus. Now, one like this that we're looking at could be upwards of $1.2 million. Anytime we have an opportunity to take some financial discounts, we're going to jump in with them. This will eliminate and reduce the amount of time that we need to take to go through a purchasing process, which again, when we've gone from a 12-month return time to almost 2 to 3 years for an apparatus, anytime you can trim off the procurement process, it's going to be of our benefit. So.
Councillor Schattenberg. Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, from the mayor through to our fire chief. I guess my next obvious question would be is this a single source of funding therefore to purchase this truck from a particular company?
Your worship, through to Councillor Schattenberg's question. So the option underneath of the procurement or the procurement group gives us the opportunity to reach out to specific vendors and have discussions with them, as the RFP process has already been completed. So we are able to potentially look at select vendors and have direct discussions rather than having it open up as it would be in the past. Some of the advanced or the benefits of that, again, can look at familiarity with not only the operation, but the maintenance of the apparatus and aspects of that. However, regardless of what process or which vendor we go through, the when we do come to a decision or what we want to go, we do have to provide a report back to council and receive your authorization for us to proceed with the purchase.
Okay. Any other questions from the chief or any other staff member, of course? Seeing none. Thanks, Chief Slager. I appreciate you taking the time out of the conference to be available. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah, thank you. I'll call the vote. All those in favor? None opposed? Carried. No special committee task force reports, no notice of motion or new business, but we do have draft bylaws. Councillor Tate.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Lauder, that the following bylaws be given a first and second reading. 9593-23, a bylaw to amend City of Woodstock Municipal Code Chapter 153, Property Standards Officers Appointments. 9594-23, a bylaw to amend Municipal Code Chapter 134, Officials Appointments. 9595-23, a bylaw to provide for the dedication and naming of parts of highways in the City of Woodstock. 9596-23, a bylaw to provide for the sale of certain lands owned by the Corporation of the City of Woodstock to ViewTech Canada.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? None opposed? Carried. Councillor Tate.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Lauder, that the following bylaws be given a third and final reading. 9593-23, inclusive to 9596-23.
Any questions of council? Seeing none, call the vote. All those in favor? That's carried. And no, I guess we've just got questions addressed by council. Councillor Wheaton, we will start with you today.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to reflect on an event that took place a little bit earlier this week, Grow Girls Bus 2023, out at Movement Church, organized by local high schools. There were 200-ish, just over 200 high school students, grade 9 and 10 female and female identifying students, from across all of Oxford County high schools in attendance. The energy in the building was incredible. And I can imagine that you got a day off of school to go have fun, would have, contributed to that enthusiasm, but the content was relevant. Ella Shelton was the guest speaker, Team Canada hockey player from Ingersoll. A couple of us had the opportunity to participate in a female panel on elected officials and women in local leadership, I would say. And then a panel of local high school students. I don't know, were there 8 or 10 on the panel? And they were asked really relevant questions that teenagers are facing today. And the answers were incredible, empowering to me as an adult, and to see this next group of female leaders coming through the educational system. It's pretty incredible to see. So to the organizers and those who were invited as speakers, and just a really phenomenal event, and look forward to 2024 and participating again.
Thank you. We'll bounce. Counselor Tate.
There's a lot of events this week, and I assume everybody's probably going to comment, so I'll leave it to those that are involved in those events, but I will be attending the art gallery event on Saturday, hoping for nice weather, and that's it.
Thank you. Counselor Leatherbrow.
So although today is May the 4th be with you, tomorrow is an equally significant day. Tomorrow is Red Dress Day, May 5th. It started in 2010 and is held annually to recognize and commemorate missing and murdered Indigenous women, children, and Two-Spirit people. Red Dress Day was inspired by Métis artist Jamie Black's Red Dress Project installation, in which she hung empty red dresses to represent the missing and murdered women. Red dresses have become symbolic of the crisis as a result of her installation. I was reading an article from out of the House of Commons from Tuesday. NDP MP Leah Gazan, who represents a Winnipeg riding. The House of Commons unanimously backed a motion Tuesday declaring the deaths and disappearance of Indigenous women and girls a Canada-wide emergency, and calling for funding for a new system to alert the public when someone goes missing. And a quote that stood out to me was, "It's one thing to acknowledge truth, and it's another thing to act on it."
Counselor Wismer Van Meer.
Just a couple of things I want to mention, kind of a proud mom moment for me. Last week, my son got to represent Algonquin Public School at the regionals for the Thames Valley District School Board. Algonquin actually had the first and second place in all of Oxford County. So they had two teams representing Woodstock, and they both finished within the top 10. So congratulations to both of those teams. It was after so many years of not having extracurriculars in the school system, and suddenly my son's really into badminton, and at the badminton club 2 or 3 nights a week, he's found another sport to pick up. So I'm happy we have the badminton club because it's keeping him very occupied, and that's a lot to do with a 14-year-old boy. So on my side, well, ball season starts in a week. I'm excited and nervous all at the same time. So just a shout out that's been passed along to me. People have been commenting on the diamonds down at Southside Park and how great they're looking, and just the work that's gone in. So to Mr. Connors and all of the Parks Department, I know we're looking forward to another ball season, and Mother Nature cooperates. Hopefully that will be starting next week. Just a little plug for my agency of Big Brothers Big Sisters. We have our Bid for Kids' Sake online auction going on right now. So go on there and bid away 120 items. A lot of those are local businesses and such that have donated. So thank you to all of them for continuing to support. And again, just there is a lot happening now. We're at that time of the year where every day and every weekend, there's going to be a lot taking place. So a great resource, I'll share it over and over again, is What's on Woodstock. It shows up in your mailbox. Take a look at it. Lots of great information to keep you up to date on what's happening. And to Colleen and the rest of the staff that put that together, great job, and thanks for keeping us informed.
Thank you. Counselor Lauder.
Thank you. Just further to what Councillor Tate has said, the staff wants to remind everyone that the Florence Carlisle celebration is this Saturday, 1 to 3, and located at the Florence Carlisle Park. We have to remember that now. Van Sitter and Ingersoll Ave. And the first 100 people will receive a free tote bag of WAG swag and a northern paint kit from Beans Paints. And just check out the summer events and programs at the Art Gallery for Children. There's lots happening there, and they start on July the 4th. I will be attending the park, but I do have to leave after a period of time because I have a celebration of life to go to. And so I'm looking forward to sunshine, even if I do have to cut the grass because this has been a gloomy week or have passed quite a few days. So thank you.
Thank you. Last and certainly not least, Councillor Shattenberg.
Thanks a lot. If the fire chief was still on the line, I would have did a Q&A grilling him on this one, but the Ontario Emergency Preparedness Week is next week up until May 13th. And on Saturday, day after tomorrow, May 6th, from 10 until 2, in the Foodland parking lot, they are doing what they call a Woodstock Emergency Preparedness Expo. So not only is the fire department there, but the police department will have the vehicles there, and so will Victim Assistance Services, the Woodstock General Hospital, Salvation Army, the City Board of Works will be there as well. So it's a great opportunity to not only meet some local staff, but certainly find out more about preparedness in the community. A couple of sporting events to mention: the Schmaltz Cup tournament. That's the Final Four for Junior C for the OHA, and the City of Woodstock is well, it's in the City of Woodstock, but for the province of Ontario, was coming up May 12th to 14th at the community complex. And what's interesting is there's 4 teams that have sort of survived this far in the province of Ontario for Junior C out of the 8 leagues. And there is a team from the Woodstock Navy Vets division, but not the Navy Vets. The Wellesley Applejacks have advanced, Lakeshore Canadians, Clarington Eagles, so that's the Bowmanville area, and the Stainer Siskins. Those will be the 4 teams competing. And it's a nice format because each of these teams get to host a home game at their own arena. And then by that weekend of May 12th, they get to play one more round robin game in Woodstock. But nobody's still eliminated because on Saturday, at 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock, they'll have a semifinal game. 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3. So you could be in theory 0-3 and still make it to the finals on Sunday at 2 p.m. also at the community complex in Woodstock. Bit of a congratulations. I've known Jeff Zaire for more than 20 years. He was drafted by the New York Islanders and played for the Boston Bruins in the 99-2000 season. His Plattsville Lakers have decided to move to Woodstock to become the Woodstock Lakers, which is a senior hockey team. They're in the same league with Tillsonburg Thunder, Stratford Irish, the Delhi Flames. It's a fairly strong competitive senior, which is men's hockey, not junior hockey aged players. So they'll be starting in Woodstock in September this year. There'll only be a 24 home game schedule. I think it's only a 24 game schedule in total. So 12 home games. So it's kind of a lighter schedule as well. One more item I want to mention is the Woodstock District Chamber of Commerce Business Awards of Excellence is November the 8th. And I'm asking and telling you about it now, even though it's November the 8th. Nominations close on May 26th in the 8 different categories. So check out the Woodstock District Chamber of Commerce website if you want to nominate somebody from young entrepreneur up to very, very large manufacturing businesses to nominate. My last question is more of a question, and that's I want our city clerk, Amy Humphreys, to discuss maybe an update on the strategic planning process and how it's going so far within the community, what level we're at.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through to Councillor Shattenberg. So as council's aware, we did hold a strategic priorities realignment workshop on March 30th, in which council prioritized various action items for this term of council. So before presenting that list to council for the final approval, we are currently seeking public feedback on those items. So the survey is currently open. It closes on May the 22nd. It's been advertised through our various communications channels, including our website, social media, the WOW magazine. And thank you, a number of members of council have helped push that out through their own channels as well. Once that survey closes, we'll analyze the results and incorporate the public feedback to make any final adjustments to that action plan, and then we'll present it to council for final approval at the second meeting in June.
Excellent, thank you. So there isn't a lot more to add now. That's the problem when it gets to me. I really thought I was going to have the Smulch Cup to talk about, but I should have figured. Kind of excited that, some good hockey coming to town, of course, with the Woodstock Lakers. I have had the opportunity to sit down with that team that's bringing them to Woodstock and excited for their 12 home game schedule, as Councillor Schattenberg mentioned. Of course, I don't think anybody mentioned the Victoria Day Parade, so that is coming up yet. Going through my list. Smile cookies, smile cookies. I have a few left, so don't leave anybody if you haven't had at least one. On Monday, I had the opportunity to go stop in there. This is around, I don't know, it was probably about 1:30 in the afternoon. And Leslie Farrell, of course, is running all that for all the Tim Hortons of all the smile cookies. And she gave me some totals. As of Monday, again, keeping in mind, this is before 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they had already had 90 volunteer hours that day of volunteers. Toyota Bushenko was there, as well as Rebel Realty was there. And others, of course, before that. It was fantastic. So that they made they sold already that morning 13,045 cookies by, again, say 1-ish in the afternoon. That's $19,567.50 raised. And Tuesday, this was interesting. On Tuesday, they had sold 28,837 cookies for a total of $48,404. And they had 207 volunteer hours for the day on Tuesday as a total day. So really heartfelt thank you for all those people that are going out, putting your time into making this possible. Of course, United Way and Secura House are the beneficiaries of this year's Smile Cookies for our area. Love it. And just all this, we live in such a great community when people are this generous. It doesn't always mean you got to take money out of your wallet, but time for cases like this is just as important. So thank you to everyone. And of course, go Leafs go. We do have a hockey game tonight. Councillor Wismer Van Meer.
May I add just one other thing? We're talking a lot about
Absolutely.
hockey right now. And I think something I meant to mention this and I forgot to, Woodstock Minor Hockey saw somebody very crucial to that organization for so many years retire last week. Pat Langdon retired at the end of April. Pat had 45 plus years in Woodstock minor hockey. And of course, the Langdon family is synonymous to hockey, I think, in our community. And Alf left behind a legacy and all of his work in getting kids to play hockey and the Play Hockey Fund that continued for so many years. But to see Pat finally retire, congratulations to her. She just gave so much of herself to that organization. So I do apologize, but we've been talking so much about hockey and I'm like, we can't not mention Pat in all of this discussion. So congratulations to Pat. Enjoy your retirement. And thank you for everything that the Langdon family did for hockey locally.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Wismer Van Meer. That's very important as well. Yes. Thank you and congratulations, Pat, on your retirement, and thank you for all those years. And with that, I guess we'll call a vote. Looking for an adjournment. First, Councillor Schattenberg, second by Councillor Wismer Van Meer. All those in favor? We are